Say you have a bunch of sketches that you did, and now you're wondering, what can I do with them? Maybe you have different characters, maybe you have the same character in different poses, and now you want to apply this work, these concepts that you have created. You want to add color, you want to bring it to completion, you want to make your drawing look finished, and maybe you want to create a gift with your art for a special someone, or even create a product for sale in your shop. Well, if you ever found yourself in that situation, this video is exactly for you, because that's what we are going to do today. We will take the bee sketches that we did in the previous video, and if you missed it, the link is right next to the video where you're watching this, so you can check it out. But in the previous video, we created 3 different poses for cute little bees, and today we're going to take these bees and color them, and I'm going to show you how to create the color palette, how to select the colors for your work, how to actually do it step by step in Procreate. Now, you do not need to do it in Procreate. I'm just going to show it to you as an example. You can draw by hand, you can use a vector program or any of your favorite media, but I'm going to do it step by step in Procreate. I will also show you how to set up the file so that you can then use the artwork that you are creating and upload it as a product to a print-on-demand service. In this video, I will show you all the steps involved in selecting a color palette for your drawing. It's not like I'm just going to give you the color palette and tell you, hey, this is my palette, use it. No, I'm going to show you the exact thought process of how I came up with these colors, why I chose these specific colors, and the options that you have. I'll also show you the coloring in Procreate. Now, you don't need to use Procreate for this. You can use any program that you like. Vector, you can draw by hand. If you are at the Kawaii Drawing Club, we have a masterclass on how to digitize your work. So if you did decide to do it by hand, I'll link it to the video so that you can go have a look. Now, also, we'll talk about composition and layout. Also, at the Kawaii Drawing Club, we have an in-depth masterclass. So in this video, I'm going to give you the demo of how to apply the principles. But if you actually want the principles themselves, the original video, you can follow the link if you are at the Kawaii Drawing Club. So we'll do composition and layout. We'll also create a phone case. So I'll show you how to set up the file for a phone case and then how to export that file if you choose to create a product with it for your shop or for a gift. And remember, honor where you are in your learning journey. If you're totally new to drawing, just copy what I'm doing. Or if you want to learn my method and then apply your own flavor to it, copy what I'm doing. It's okay to copy first time around. Then you can create your own version and keep iterating on it, because your flavor will come through whether you want it or not. Sweet? Let's open up Procreate. Step 1. Set up your file. So in Procreate, we'll start by creating a new canvas for our art, right? But the million-dollar question is, what size canvas do we create? So I know that I'm creating a product, right? So what I'm going to do is go to a browser and go to printful.com, because I know that I want to be uploading the finished design to Printful. So very handily, Printful actually tells me exactly how big the phone case needs to be. So this is kind of the design that I'm looking at. Let me see if I can enlarge it. So it's sort of a transparent phone case that I think it would be very pretty to have the little bees here, and then you can still see the phone through the case. So that's kind of my idea. So right here next to the product itself, they tell you file guidelines. So you can see right here, it says 7.44 centimeters in this case, if you are in the US or in a place where they do inches. So you'll have here the dimensions in inches, but it doesn't actually matter. So all we need to remember is this number, and you can round it up. So I'm going to go with 7.5 by 15.5 because it's too hard to remember all the little decimals. It doesn't matter. If your design is just a touch bigger, it'll get cropped off on the sides. It's not a problem. So 7.5 by 15.5 centimeters. Hop back to Procreate, click the plus sign right here, and I'm gonna click this little folder with a plus sign on it, and I'm gonna say, so the width is gonna be 7.5, but I want to make sure I'm working in centimeters, and the height is going to be 15.5, 600 dpi. That's good. And it's telling me, Procreate is telling me that I have 157 layers available to me with these dimensions. Now, if you have an older iPad, you'll have less layers. And if you're really finding that it's only giving you like 4 layers, you can reduce the DPI, but no less than 300. No less than 300. 600 is good. So that's how you want to set up your file. So just go create. And right here, this is what we have to work with for a phone case. This is all the space we have. So let's start by importing the drawing that we did in the previous tutorial. Again, if you have missed it, you can go follow the link below the video and check it out. So this is the line art that we created, or a sketch rather, in the previous video. And the only thing I did is fix up the wings, because during the demo I had a hard time with these wings, and then I looked at them later and actually kindly one of our Kawaii Drawing Club members had mentioned it too, which is awesome, that they were reversed in their perspective. So I just fixed that up. Now I want to take these drawings and bring them into the new file that we have created. And the easiest way to do it is to hit the wrench icon and say share, and just say a PNG and save it to your image gallery. So save image. Now we'll go back to the file that we have just created, and we're going to import it into here. So click the wrench tool again and say add, insert a photo, and there it is right there. Boom. So I don't know, doesn't matter how much I scale it, because I'm gonna do the layout right now. So I'm just gonna make it big enough, but it's all gonna change. So, and I wanna put every bee on its own layer so that I can move things around. So let's do that. Do a selection. 3-finger swipe, so you take 3 fingers and swipe it down, and you just do cut and paste. That's like the fastest way to do this. You could do clickety click in your layers, but you could just 3-finger swipe. So we'll repeat that for the other drawings. Just make sure you're on the right layer. I just cut and pasted air. So make sure to select the layer with all your art before doing that. And now we can delete the original layer. So now you see each bee is on its own separate layer, and I can move things around as I want. I can resize things, right? It's just like a better place to be. Now, something to mention in Procreate, if you move something off canvas, it's gone. It's really gone. Look, the whole bee is gone. So be careful not to move things around. I'm gonna tap to undo. If you are kind of experimenting with different elements, you can put them in a separate folder within your layers. I often have a folder like sketches or tests or something like that, or references, you know, and then you can just toggle them on and off, but don't move things off your canvas. So this bee is looking a little bit smaller like the other ones than the other ones, so I'm going to increase the size right away, because the idea is that this is actually the same character. And by the way, I have a name for her. I called for comments for the name of this honeybee, and there were some really great suggestions. Some of the suggestions were Bumblebee and Bumblebee, and then my daughter came up with Bee, which I really love. But then I ended up going with the name Honey. Honey, it just rings so true to me, and so true to her personality specifically. So she is Honey. Let's continue. So the idea is that this is Honey, and she's doing different things. So that's why I'm matching the characters to be the same size. Now, the next thing is to think of a story, right? Yes, it's a pattern and it's a phone case, but we still want to have some kind of a cohesive story going on. So this is where we start thinking about composition and layout. The fact that there are 3 items is really good. In fact, this one is pointing inwards, so that's helping us to drive the eye of the viewer into the center. So you never really want to do this thing. Let me show you what not to do. You do not want to do this, because in your mind, the viewer will be following the line of your character and falling out of your artwork, falling out of your composition. So you want to be facing inwards, in towards center. And if you have a focal point, right, like an area of focus, that's where you want to be always driving attention to. So let's do that. We just put this one down here, something like this. And then let's put this guy, or gal rather, a little bit lower down, and we'll put the next one higher up, something like this. Now there is a big gap right here at the top, and compositionally this is not really great, because another principle of composition is balance. We want to have balance. However, I know this is going to be a phone case, and most phones have some kind of a camera of various sizes right here. So therefore, I'm actually deliberately leaving that area blank, and I'll put some flowers. We'll look at it right now. But we don't want to be putting main characters in this area, because most likely they would get cut off. Step 2, create composition. We've already started talking about composition and the principles, but in this part, we are going to bring it into completion. Now, I mentioned story, right? So I'm kind of creating the view that the honey is flying in. Then there is another idea of the honey drinking the honey. The honeybee after a full day of work drinking the honey, and then this one is coming in. So instead of your eye falling out from the top, the eye is actually going to stop here and turn right back around. There's like this beautiful flow that's happening that keeps guiding the eye, and the objects that the bees are holding is telling the story. Like we talked about in the previous video, this bee has been collecting honey all day long and is very excited about eating it. This bee is also feeling very satisfied. This bee is kind of bringing a gift or something, maybe coming to decorate their space where they live. You can also change this. So in my original drawing, this was a watering can. But we went with a flower. That's what spoke to me at the moment. So we're gonna go with it. Let's say this bee is creating an act of service of contributing to the well-being of the other bees. So that's the story. Now we've got to fill out the gaps. And in order to do that, we want to create some more sidekicks, decorations. We want to add more elements to help us tell the story and make it more aesthetically pleasing. So let's do that. I'll make a new layer. So something that is kind of jumping out to me right away is a butterfly. And to draw a simple butterfly is really easy. You just do like a little oval and little arches. We don't need to get fancy here, especially for product design. You want to keep things really, really simple. And then just a circle for the head and little antennas. Now, it's your choice if you want to add faces to your butterflies, but I want to keep the attention on the bees themselves, so I am not adding any details to the supporting characters. So it came out a little bit too big. I'm gonna make it smaller. We're gonna balance out all the elements at the next phase. Right now, I'm just putting things that I think go with the picture, but can fill out the gaps, right? So we've got the butterfly, make a new layer, and let's do a flower, something like, I don't know. Like, again, we want to keep things really, really simple. Now, the brush that I'm using for sketching this is from my set called Tat's Pencil. It's really nice because I can do a thin line or I can do a really thick line based on pressure. And you can download my brushes if you like to where you're watching this video. So let's continue. So I've got this pencil and I'm gonna just draw a little flower. Again, keep it really simple, really doodly. You don't want to have too much detail here. Nice. The head of the flower is looking a little bit too big, so I'm just gonna make it smaller. And this is the beauty of using digital tools. It just gives you these opportunities to sort of adjust very quickly, but by no means does it make you more creative or less creative. You know, these are just tools. Now, the good thing about this flower is that I can take it and I can put it this way, I can put it that way, I can flip it over. I think that's enough actually to fill out the space. Between these two elements, the butterflies and the flowers, we might actually have enough to create a very pleasing design. So let's have a go and see how, how it balances out. Now, I want to make the bees a little bit more central to the design. So I'm also keeping in mind that I want to add a white outline around the entire bee later on, because remember, this is going to sit on a transparent surface for a phone case. So I want to make it look like almost like a sticker by adding a white outline. So I don't want to make it too big, but a little bit bigger than what it is right now. Okay, now let's start dropping in the flowers. So there's actually a logical position, right? A logical position for each flower. Swipe to the left to duplicate this layer, and then you can just drag it down here. Now, this could be good because it's still pointing into the design. We can also try by flipping it horizontal. I actually think this looks a little bit better. Again, always thinking about the viewer. It's like closing the path for the eye to fall out, right? I'm putting a flower here and it sort of creates like that sense of completion for the eye right here. It's like closing off the corner. So let's put one flower here as well. Now we can sort of turn it upside down even, or we can also make it smaller, right? It's no problem. We are just in sketch phase. Once we're starting to do the outline, we can adjust the width and all that stuff. But right now it's open skies. Nice. I like how this looks. Now let's look at this top portion right here. You see how it's all coming together? Now remember here there's going to be like an awkward thing with the camera, so I might just put like flower there in a funny position, because if any of it gets cut off, it doesn't matter, like we'll still be able to tell what that is. I think this is actually okay. Now let's work with our butterfly. Butterfly is like, it's really universal because you can just sprinkle them around and it'll look nice. My butterfly is looking a little bit squishy, so I'm gonna use a liquify filter from Procreate to unsquish it a little bit. So I'll go to this magic wand menu and select liquify, and I can just sort of move it and shape it a little bit, just like plasticine. Just like we saw in the previous tutorial when we were molding and shaping with plasticine, right? This is like digital plasticine. Now I want to duplicate this. Look, I can do it through the layers like I showed you, but I can use my trusty 3-finger swipe. So 3-finger swipe, duplicate, voila. Super easy, isn't it? So I can put one here. Let's duplicate it again. I'm kind of loading up the butterflies at the top because I expect there's going to be a cutoff point someplace here. And looks like we could even squeeze in another flower right here. So let's do that. Duplicate. Let's flip it horizontal so it looks nice and different. Nice. Okay, so we have lots of butterflies up here, but none down here. So we can do that. Let's pick a butterfly and duplicate it. Come here, little butterfly. Turn it around, point it towards the center. You're seeing the trend here already. So adjust everything. So with every element that I add, I need to tweak things a little bit, and it's okay. That's all right. So now I think this is pretty good. Actually, I think it's pretty complete. Now, once we add like the colors and outlines and all that stuff, it's gonna get more busy. Also, something that we can do, and I did do in my original drawing, is that I actually added little circles right here. So the idea is that yes, it's a compositional device to fill in the gaps, but it also creates the feeling that this is like pollen, you know, if we're thinking of honey and bees and all that. They're like little puffs of pollen flying all around, and look how beautiful this is coming out to be already. And look, you could adjust the same layout to a square. You could turn it into a repeated pattern. It's up to you how you use it. In this case, I'm doing a phone case, you know, but this is so versatile. Step 3, color palette. With our drawing done, we are ready to start thinking about color. Now, you know I don't like to reinvent the wheel. So what we are going to do is we are going to hop on over to Pinterest, and all I did is search for Kawaii Bees. Not even really a drawing or anything like that. I'm going to scroll until I see something that feels like the drawing that I want to create aesthetically, not necessarily in terms of character, but the feeling of it. For example, this one I think has a really nice balance of colors. So you can press these 3 dots and you can just download the image. It saves it to your iPad. Let's see, let's get a couple more. This is really nice. This is really nice. So we're not going to be copying this, but we're going to use it as a starting point. You could also, you know, search for existing color palettes. For example, you could say like summer palette or something, and you could grab one of these palettes if you like. I like to start with a drawing because I can see all the colors in context, but I know that I'm going to be changing these colors. This is just a starting point. Hop back to Procreate and let's import those images that we have pulled out. So Procreate will put them on a new layer. So go to the wrench icon and say add, insert a photo, and let's find the photos that we just added. Pop them someplace, doesn't matter. We are going to turn them off later. Nice. So I can now go ahead and organize these layers into a group. So I just swipe on it, I say group, and I'll call it references. And we can go ahead and create a little palette from it. So in Procreate, you see, I already have my palette, but I'll just do it again here. Now, I will make this palette available to you if you're at the Kawaii Drawing Club, if you want to just use the exact the same one that I'm using. But I'm going to show you right now how I came up with this palette. So this is my rebalanced palette, but there is a process to actually picking colors and then rebalancing them. You know, it doesn't just happen. You don't just like come out already with a perfect palette. So I might just pick this yellow and test it out. You know, to me it looks a little bit too light, but I'll pop it in here and see. And I know I also want like a deep yellow, like a rich yellow, like honey. So I'll just pick this one. You see how I'm using the different artworks to pick and choose and I'll put it next to this yellow to see if they work together or not. Like, I can already tell that I ended up changing the hue of it a little bit. This is way more orangey, this is more yellowy, but I didn't know that at the start. So that's the process, you know, put something down and then you can decide, do I want to change it, do I want to keep it? Okay, we also want a blue, so let's pick a blue and a darker blue. I don't know, we could pick it from here, but probably, you know, you can also sort of make up your own. So the way that you would do that, I like to use the classic view. So this is the blue of the wings, and I want to go get like a nice outline color. So there's a little bit of a hack for you. Go diagonal like this. What you're doing when you go diagonal like that downwards, you are increasing saturation and you're making it darker. So that's a good hack for picking a shadow color. So from your original, you want to go diagonal like this, and that's a good shadow color. Let's just put it in the palette and see. It'll be like a placeholder. That actually looks pretty nice. Might be a bit dark. Now we want a nice brown for the outline. I think this one is pretty nice. Can test it out. What else? We want to do a pink because my things always have cheeks. So I'll grab this pink. It might be a bit too intense, but let's see. And I suppose we need a green also for our flowers. So let's see. This looks like a nice green. So this looks like a nice green. However, I want to cool it off a little bit. That looks like a lettuce green, and I want to make it a little bit of a cooler green. So I can go to my classic view again, and I can use this slider, which will change the blue more, the green more towards blue. And then maybe I'll make it a tiny bit lighter. So you can see this is the color I started with, and this is my new color. Now it might be a bit too blue, so come back. This looks good, and we'll just pop it into the palette right here. You know, if I ignore this part and I just look at these colors, it looks okay. It looks pretty nice actually. It's a little bit more vibrant than what I started with, but I like how all these colors look together. Why don't we just put it down on the canvas and see if they work? Step 3, color the drawing. Okay, we've got our starting palette. We can sort of turn off the references now and we can start coloring. If you're running out of layers, what you can do is you can squish down all these sketch layers that we did, and it'll basically create one layer from all these different sketch lines. What that does is that it buys you more layers if you need more during the color process. Now, when coloring, we want to put each color on its own layer, so that if I then decide that my green is too bright or whatever, I can just change all of the greens in one go. And for product design, you really want to keep your color palette limited. So you don't want to have 15 different greens. You want to have, you know, up to 3 maybe, at least for this style of design. You know, not a photographic style, but more like the kawaii, like iconic style. So to do the outlines, I'm gonna use my new favorite rough outline, which I have created here. You can download my brushes where you're watching this video. That's what I'm going to be using for the outline. It's quite smooth, but it still has that little rough edge that gives it like a little bit of a handmade feel. You see, it's really nice. Okay, so I'm gonna go through the whole drawing right now. I'm gonna color everything in, and then we'll come back and talk about the next steps. And you have a choice here. You can choose to have the classic kawaii look with the hard, like dark outline and then fill it in. Let's look at our references again. Kind of like this. This is like the classic look with the outline. Or you can have it like a paper cutout version where there's no outline, it's just the color. So that's kind of the style that I'm gonna go for this drawing. But I actually did do the outline version as well here. So just, you know, you can play around with it. I've just done the elements and I can lay it out if I choose to and create another version of this product, but just for perspective, I decided to go with the cutout style, kind of like this. So let's do all the coloring now. Something that I want to say here also is that I don't need to redraw every single flower. I only need to do the flower once, because remember, we can copy and paste. Okay, so with the yellow, I can definitely see that this yellow is not matching the vibrance of these colors that I have selected. So I'm gonna go and make a decision right now that I want a more yellow. So since the butterfly wings are sitting on a separate layer, I can go to hue, saturation, and brightness, and I can just bump up the saturation. I can reduce the brightness, but be careful because it can go gray. So maybe bump up the saturation. I can also change it, like maybe make it go a little bit more orangey to match this. So basically you can play around with the yellow that you have. And the orange I think is okay. I actually think is okay. I might decide later that it's not okay and change it, but for now I'm quite happy with it. I did 3 little dots here just to have a different variation so that not all the dots look the same. But then later on, I will, I'll copy and paste them in different areas. So we've got the flowers, we've got the butterfly. Now let's do the stars of the show, the bees. Okay, so we've got all the elements colored. And if you like, you can continue adding more layers. You can add some highlights if you want. But in the interest of time, I'm gonna call it done for the coloring part because I want to show you the other part as well. Now, I kind of like how the yellows and the blues are working together. I'm finding the pink to be very, very strong. So I'm gonna go and change the pink. I ended up separating it into two different sections just because of how the order of layers works. But actually, I probably could have combined it into one. In any case, they're in two different layers, so I'll have to change it in two different places, but that's okay. I'm okay with the flower. I think the cheeks are a little bit too hot or too bright for the bees and are standing out. So I'm just gonna adjust that part. Nice. And the flower could even stay the same. So at this point, let's say like I actually was creating a phone case, I would go back and duplicate this file because we're about to, you know, destroy it a little bit. So we're gonna remove all the parts that are not relevant anymore. So we're gonna remove the references and we're gonna flatten out all our colors because now we're gonna like cut and paste the individual pieces. And for the background color, I'm imagining that the phone case is kind of silvery, so I actually want to make the background color sort of a darker, I don't know, kind of like silvery color because then I can judge my colors on it better. Something like that. And the white that you're seeing poking through, that's actually from our layout. That's not part of our drawing, you see? So no problem there. So I'm just gonna keep this here so that I can see what I'm doing. And it's the same process like we did before of copying and pasting and moving things around. So I'm gonna go through and copy all the elements into their corresponding places. Oh, and before we do that, we also want to add a white outline around all the elements. And I'm going to do that on the one layer so that we don't have to like do it multiple times. Like I was saying that I want to make them look like a sticker. So I'm taking pure white and I'm actually going to take a different brush. I'm going to take my smooth outline rather than the rough outline because you know sticker edges are really, really smooth. And this is kind of like a very satisfying part of the drawing. So there are some automated ways of doing it, but I kind of like doing it by hand. I can change it, like I don't, you know, I can make decisions of how the white outline is gonna work. I don't have to follow exactly my drawing. And I just find it really fun to do this. Okay, so we've got all these pieces in now. Merge them once again, and I'm gonna copy and paste them in their corresponding areas. Beautiful. So here's our layout. Now, when we are exporting it, or if you want to test it, you can look at it without the background layer, because we want to export it as a transparent file to use for the phone, right? The phone case is transparent, but seeing the background kind of shows you of where things are going to be. So we can just do some final adjustments here, but it looks absolutely stunning. It's so good. And whether it's a dark phone case or a silver phone case or the rose gold, you know, it's gonna look really, really beautiful. And I just found a little error here, so we're just gonna fix it up. And all that remains to do now is to export this file as a transparent PNG. Step 5, export your file. Now, this is the super easy part, literally just a few clicks. So we go to settings, we go to share, and you export it as a PNG, and you can save it to your device. You can, airdrop it. You can do anything you want with it. And if you're at the Kawaii Drawing Club, you will get a tutorial on what to do with that file that you have exported next. But overall, I think it came out really, really beautiful. Let's look at the other colors. Like, this is more of a silvery color. It's absolutely stunning. I hope you like it as well. Between these two videos, the Kawaii Bees Part 1 and the Kawaii Bees Part 2 that you saw today, you literally have everything you need to come up with a concept for a character that you like, to create different poses for your character, to create a story around it, and then to create a composition and layout, and even take it a step further and put it on a usable object. Apply your art in a way that other people can enjoy. Pretty awesome, isn't it? Remember that you can download the brushes that I use for Procreate right where you're watching this video. There's also a link to a live version of this phone case if you want to have one of your own. And if you are at the Kawaii Drawing Club, you will also find my exact color palette linked below the video, as well as a worksheet that will take your learning and practice to a deeper level. Share your drawings in a community. We are here to lift you up, to give you motivation, to give you feedback if that's something that you want, or to just reflect to you the beauty that you have created and to celebrate your achievements with you. I would really, really love to see your drawings that you create. And if you're not yet a member of the Kawaii Drawing Club, you can check it out, linked where you're watching this video. We are a creative community focused on getting you skills for drawing kawaii and then applying your art in meaningful and profitable ways. Kind of like what we did here in the tutorial today, except that we go way, way, way deeper on the subject. And Kawaii Drawing Club is a system designed to help you keep showing up to your practice, to keep doing the work every month, keep publishing the products, keep growing your creative business. So I would say it's 60% focused around drawing with a full-length drawing tutorial. Then we have a drawing date in week 2. So it's a live co-working session that we do together. Then in week 3, we do a marketing tutorial. So if you are at the Kawaii Drawing Club, you will see how to then take the file that we have created today and upload it to a service like Printful. I'm going to show you Printful so that then you can add it to your shop, let's say on Shopify, or if you have an Etsy store. So this is not like doing Redbubble where somebody else controls everything. This is about creating your own shop. You know what happened with Redbubble, right? They suddenly introduced these tiers and it messed up the revenue for some of the artists. When you have your work on somebody else's platform, you have no control. When you publish into your own shop, you are in control. So sure, Printful might go out of business, but you can just take that, all the designs that you have created and you can put it in Printify or some other service. You are in control. The other company doesn't get to say how much traffic you're gonna get or not gonna get. So this is a long way of saying that in week 3, we have a marketing tutorial. So we cover all these topics, and I'm gonna show you how to add a phone case to your shop using Printful in this case, but the key is that using your own shop. And then in week 4, we do a mindset magic talk, because mindset is a huge part of your creative journey. You can have the bestest information, the best tutorials in the world. Open YouTube, open Pinterest, go to a bookshop. There are so many tutorials, right? But the point is that it's about knowing what to do and when, in what order. So that's one thing. That's what Kawaii Drawing Club offers, a structure. But second is about actually doing it. And there's so many mental things that come up, like comparisonitis, like worrying about your style, like getting creative block, that can come up, that can just halt your progress. So every month we unravel these thoughts. We work on this as a group, live. It's a live session, so that it's like a reset that you get every month, and you start the next month full of energy, full of motivation, ready to keep going with your friends, with your community, and with your leader, myself, there support you and get you everything you need to succeed and keep moving forward. If this is interesting to you, I sincerely invite you to check out Kawaii Drawing Club. The link is below the video. It's kawaiidrawingclub.com. Thank you for drawing with me today. Thank you for co-creating. I hope to meet you at the club. If you're at the club, I hope to see you at the club. And in any case, we'll be in touch very, very soon. Bye!